That's amazing. Good morning, everybody. How's it going? We already have people that we're sitting, waiting. So I know that I'm actually talking to people. And of course, I have to clear my throat like at the beginning of the live stream because I couldn't think to do that before we actually got started. But good morning to everyone who's joined and waited and actively joining the live stream this morning. It is super exciting to be with you. We've got lots of questions coming in already. I was gonna, tee up a softball question for you guys, like, what's your favorite donut? Because while this live stream is indeed powered by Hisense, they underwrote the live stream today. I feel like I'm personally powered by donuts right now, Sesame Donuts, not sponsored. But it got me thinking about, like, when I was picking donuts this morning, I was like, what do I get for people? I don't know. I know what I like, but I don't know what other people like. Is the Bismarck the most popular? What about the OG glaze? Do you like a cake donut? How do people feel about fritters? So you are welcome to discuss that briefly in the chat right now if you want to. But yeah, I just wanted to kick it off with something a little bit fun. Yeah, so I think we should just get right into it, right? I don't think there's any need for a bunch of fluff. I want to start answering questions right away because I know everybody is, well, you're getting ready for Thanksgiving if you're in the United States. I believe if you're in Canada, you've already had your Thanksgiving. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong about that. But yeah, the United States Thanksgiving is coming up soon. And so we are kind of getting ready for holiday mode. The holiday mania has started. You may have seen it in a recent video. When I visited Atlanta recently, like there was a one-day turnover between Halloween decorations and Christmas decorations, like immediate holiday transition. And indeed, this year, the Black Friday deals did come early. Speaking of Hisenses only, theirs came out on the 17th of the month. So doing the math, we're about 6 days in on that so far. We've seen TCL come out with their deals, some really compelling deals from TCL as well. And I hope that by now we're seeing all the deals that we expect to see from Sony, LG, Samsung. And I believe Roku is probably also putting up some deals at this very moment. So I would say today, like ironically somewhat, right, fellas? Like today is like the first, like, you must start buying kind of day because these deals are November 1st. There is some concern of stuff going out of stock, but most retailers will honor the pricing. They'll give you a rain check. So you can place an order. It'll go on back order. You'll probably get it before the actual holiday season. Of course, if you're looking to get it before the holiday season, the end of December, well, you might have to wait a little bit longer. That being said, we've got so many people in chat. It's amazing. I love seeing you guys here. It's really exciting. This is the first ever live stream that we've done on the CalebRated channel. The channel's been alive for just a little over 2 months now, and it's been a grind to get these videos going out for you. Trying to do a few reviews, a few helpful guides and whatnot, but this was the next natural step. And I do want to say thank you to Hisense for helping to make this possible, because they did make it possible to pay Zeke and Rich to come in here and make this like a quality live stream with the graphics and all the stuff. Huge thanks to Zeke and Rich for getting their butts over here at 7 a.m. Pacific time so that we could get this thing ready for you. You can talk to Zeke and Rich too, by the way, if you want to. They might be willing to tell you things that, frankly, I won't. So let's start with first question is from Golf Addict 65, who I just learned is actually Spanky. Shout out to Spanky, who was covered in a recent Just Ask Caleb episode, and says, still trying to decide between an 85-inch QM 8K for $2,700 or a 98-inch QM 7K for $3,500. Those are Canadian prices, by the way. Thank you for the clarification. This is classic, right? Well, I mean, I think it's a perfect question to start off with because it is the biggest conundrum I think people face when buying a new TV, especially these days where we're seeing bigger and bigger TVs being pushed at lower and lower prices. People are accommodating larger displays. They're really excited about having that like home theater scene in their home, in their room. And I think 85, yeah, 80 the 85-inch TV is the most aggressively growing TV size in terms of sales. It's not going to take over 65 as the most commonly purchased TV, but it's definitely seeing a lot of growth. And I think that's because most folks can accommodate an 85. After that, you know, it kind of depends, right? But for the fundamental part of this question is, do I get the higher quality, higher spec TV at a slightly smaller size, or do I maybe take a small hit to overall quality and get a larger screen size? And I hear people ask this about the Hisense U8K versus Hisense U7K all the time. This is a TCL version of that same question. I think I will say this. Most folks are not going to need the top tier flagship TV, right? That's a nice to have. If you want to have it, it's a nice to have. But most folks are going to be absolutely thrilled with something like the Hisense U7K or the TCL QM7K. You get that. I feel like that's the level this year where you start seeing the diminishing returns, right? You can spend more, and you are getting more, but you're getting less more than if you jump from the 6 series, like the Hisense U6 to the Hisense U7. There's a more significant jump in picture quality there than there is between the 7 and the 8. Which is why most folks are going to be making that 6-7 decision. Sorry, I had to do it. Like 6 is already a really premium TV for a lot of folks. When you're talking about people buying 65-inch TVs for less than $300 off the floor of their local Megalomart, you know, something like the U6 is going to be a serious step up, a serious upgrade for a lot of people, whether it's the new TV they were thinking about getting or it's the TV they have in their home now. So the 7 is an awesome step up. Now, if you just want to have all the everythings, 85 is big. 85 is big in most folks' homes. 98 is gargantuan. It is the only thing you see when you're in the room. It makes your couch look small, right? It is a really large TV. If you want a cinema experience in your home, you want to be overwhelmed by the TV, a 98 will do that. But at 85 is still big enough to just tickle the pants right off you. I probably could have come up with a different axiom than that. The guys over here, I think they agree. So in most cases, I tell people, look, like at this level, if you can fit a 98, I go for it. Why not? But if you are super sensitive to little image things, like you know who you are. If you are pretty stinking picky, then get the higher quality TV at the slightly smaller size. I would say that club right there, the folks who see little tiny differences display to display to display, is a very small club, right? The 7, I know a lot of folks who get the Hisense U6 or the Hisense U7, TCL QM6 or TCL QM7K. They look at those TVs and they're like, it gets better than this. You know what I mean? So you need to be one of those people who are like, no, I can really tell the difference in order to, go for something that is of higher picture quality or higher spec standard than size. Does that make sense? I will also say people get used to the size of the TV really fast, right? You think 85 is just going to be outrageously huge. It's not. You're going to get used to it really, really fast, right? All right. So 98, I will say 98, maybe you don't get used to it as fast. Next question, please.
Guess we got in the chat. We got Enabong in the chat.
No way. Enabong's in the house. What's up, Enabong? Thank you for joining, my dude. I appreciate it. Enabong, also known as Bored at Work, is just an outstanding person, first of all, but he's also an excellent creator. He is doing what I think is a new series on his channel. I'm going to get this wrong, Edabong, and I'm sorry, but he's kind of taking a look at really awesome cars from the dad's perspective because he's the new dad, and I love what he's doing there. He started with a fire Cadillac. Y'all need to go check out his channel, but he has been somebody who's been very supportive and helpful to me as I transition to an independent creator. He and Brian Tong in particular have been really helpful, and so I just want to shout out Edabong and thank him for being part of the live stream, the inaugural live stream at the CalebRated channel. Thanks, Edabong, for being here. I really appreciate it. We got a new question in from Johnny8954. Thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate that, by the way. Hi, Caleb, long-time viewer, first-time caller, love it. I just bought an LG B5 as it was heavily discounted. I'm coming from an LG A2. My TV sits next to the window. Will it be enough for sports on summer days? I think yes. I think it's going to be fine. I think that the wow factor that you get out of an OLED TV dissipates when it's sitting next to a really bright window. I'm assuming you could probably draw a shade or the blinds on that window and knock down the light a little bit. And if you can, definitely do that. It'll help. But you know, when you're in a really, really bright room, you never really get contrast back, right? All you can do is get enough brightness to see the image and not have it be washed out by everything that's around it. And so I would say, I think it's going to be okay. But the awesomeness of your TV, what you notice during dimmer times and at night, that awesomeness is gonna dissipate a little bit. So if you're looking to like show off your TV to all your friends, I would say for the B5, which is an excellent OLED TV, by the way, I would say that the show-off time is probably during the dimmer hours or the night hours. If that's what you're looking to do. I don't know that you're necessarily trying to show off the TV. I don't know. I think in those terms, right? I was always in a demo room showing off a projector or a TV or speakers or whatever. And at home, I'm always excited to share. And so maybe I'm projecting a little bit, but I don't know how you roll, right? So I have to invent scenarios in my head and see if I can cover all of them for you. What's happening in the chat, fellas? We've got one from Mojal. I think one of the best parts of this live stream, by the way, is me trying to figure out how to pronounce everybody's screen names. I'm really enjoying it. I hope you are as well. I hope that if I butcher your name, that you can see it as something funny and not as something insulting. Congrats on 100K subscribers. We're not there yet, but I love the way that you're speaking it into being. I love the way, unless we just got like 8,000 subscribers in the last few minutes, we're not there yet, but we're on our way. Thank you for the preemptive congratulations. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I hope that we get there quickly. You know, that silver play button, it's gonna be great. My go-to coffee order, see now, okay, go-to coffee order is how you learn about a person. I saw an influencer once who said if they order anything other than black coffee or black coffee with one sugar or something like that, run away because they're a high maintenance person. Speaking of high maintenance, I mean, I'll tell you what my Starbucks order is. At home, I just brew regular coffee and I use a little bit of Splenda in it, and that's it. No cream, no whatever. But if I'm going to Starbucks, I'm going for a frou-frou treat, right? I don't go to Starbucks to get drip coffee. I can do that at home. So if I'm getting my frou-frou treat Starbucks order, it is probably a triple grande or a quad venti. You know, got to have the right, you know, coffee to milk mixture. Oat milk mocha with no foam, no whip, and it's half sweet, right? So half as much chocolate. I try to keep the sugar low. So it's a mocha, half sweet, made with oat milk, cause the lactose. If you know where that quote, cause of the lactose, if you know where that comes from, tell me in the chat. I will find a way to get you a price. Don't Google it, by the way. Don't do that. Let's actually have fun. You have to know the movie in order to win my favor and maybe a prize. By the way, speaking of, It's not a done deal yet. I do want to let you know that it looks good for some prizes for the 100K subscriber giveaway. I am working on that. So just by being around, you are eligible. We'll figure out a way to pick some winners at random. But I think I might have more than just one prize, and they should be some good ones. I'm going to talk to our friends at Hisense and see if they're willing to kick down. Something tells me they are, because they've been pretty awesome so far as partners go. All right, at 23 Muggy, that was not hard to say at all. Thanks for the super chat. I just splurged 2750 pounds. Is that pounds or euros? Ooh, boy, I'm looking bad right now. Is that pounds? Okay. Yeah, that's right. The euro it looks like an E. I've just splurged 2750 pounds on a Philips 77 OLED 950. I love this question already. A great deal. Yes, it is. Can you advise how to get the best out of the picture? Would you advise calibrating? So, I don't have access to the same Philips TVs that you do. The Philips TVs that we get here in the U.S. are made by, I want to say it's a Taiwanese factory. Conca, the same people that make those. It's not the same Philips that you get, right? You get the Primo Philips. We don't get that here yet. We just got Ambilight back, if you can believe that. But so no, I don't know how to calibrate your TV or any suggested settings, other than I like to go with the movie mode or the cinema mode or the pro mode, or if it has filmmaker mode or whatever. When you're watching SDR content, you can jack the brightness up, okay? Because those modes are designed to meet a standard. That standard is going to be dim, because the standard involves a pitch black room. You don't tend to watch that way. So you go into the filmmaker mode. For SDR, you're going to want to jack up the brightness. In HDR, it's already maxed out. You don't get to decide. And that way you're getting a warm color temperature and no motion smoothing. Now, if you want to add a little motion smoothing in, you can do that. Sometimes that's helpful on an OLED, because it's instant pixel response time, right? It's not judder. It's a flashing, stuttery type thing. And it happens in the UK with 50 cycle per second TVs, as well as it does here in the US with 60 cycle per second. And anytime you're converting 24 to either 50 or 60, you have to do, 5.5 pull down? Here it's 3.3 or 3.2 pull down. But besides that, it has to hold on. There's fewer frames than there are cycles, right? So it's going to have to hold on to frames. And then when it switches frames, it happens very suddenly. So a little bit of motion smoothing is going to even out some of the flashing effect that you see in slow pans on movies. For TV, you're not going to have a problem there. But yeah, that's the cheat code, right? Is to go with the mode that's already more accurate. Professional calibration. Harder and harder to come by for consumers these days. There are, I think you can count on your fingers how many professional calibrators there are here in the U.S. That are helping out consumers. A lot of calibrators are servicing mostly professional folks. And I would say I don't know a whole lot about how Philips are measuring out of the box. Ooh, we just got a big one there. So I can't tell you whether a calibrator is going to make a meaningful difference to you on that particular TV. I would say picking a solid mode out of the TV would help. And you know who can answer that question for you is Vincent Teo over at HD TV Test. I don't know if he'll get back to you because the dude is busy. He really is. But I will say that he knows all about those Philips TVs. I just don't get to experience them, and so I can't tell you from personal experience. I would say that if you go and you see that all the reviews on those TVs are wildly good, you know, saying it's got great accurate colors out of the box and whatnot, that means it's probably close enough. And you may not need to pay for a calibrator unless you have very specific needs. Or you're just obsessive and you've got to know that you have it dialed. Well, then you already know it's worth spending the money, because it's the only thing that's going to quiet your brain down, isn't it? Those who know. All right. We are at Asante Boy 16. Thanks for the super chat. Choosing between the TCL QM8 and the Hisense U8G. U8G, last year's model, both 100 inches, going to basement room, watch sports 3 hours per week, and movie TV shows 5 to 6 hours. Apple TV or Google TV. Okay, you are choosing between those. I'm assuming that you're asking for some help choosing between those. Sorry, I appreciate specificity. Although I do appreciate also that you're telling me where it's going. So both of those TVs are really bright. The Hisense is the brightest of those two. That's a lot of brightness for a basement room. Is it a daylight basement room? Well, I will say that the backlight systems on both of those are very good. I think that all told, the Hisense is going to have slightly more accurate colors. You didn't specify which QMA. It looks like you're looking at last year's models. The Hisense is the more accurate TV out of the box between those two. That is a documented fact. It has nothing to do with Hisense sponsoring this deal. By the way, Hisense, they don't care what we talk about here. They just wanted to support the live stream. That's why we're partnered, because they keep their hands off my live stream. But between the two, like the Hisense will be the slightly more accurate out of the box. The TCL suppresses blooming and halo a little bit more, but at the expense of some other stuff, so including color accuracy in lower luminance stuff. So I would say you're going to be good either way. Those are exceptionally bright TVs. HDR is going to look amazing. In SDR, you're going to be using like a fraction of the power that those TVs are capable of. Because remember, not only are they the brightest TVs that TCL and Hisense made last year, but they're also 100-inch models. They are light cannons in your room. So that is going to be just an exceptional experience. I look forward to hearing about which you chose and how much you enjoy it. Hopefully that's helpful. If you wanted more specific help, though, pop in with another comment. No need to super chat or whatever. Hopefully we'll catch it. There's a lot of comments coming in, but we got a Zeke working hard over there, so hopefully he can catch it. He's doing it great. My man Nick, Movie AV Impulse, who's been a member for a month now, also super chatted. That's very generous. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate that a lot. Hey, Caleb, I'm having issues with my 75-inch X90L. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear it. My Dolby Vision always feels too reddish or too bluish. Is there a change in the settings I can try? So I'm trying to remember. There's a thing with Sony TVs where if you can calibrate stuff, if you change... I'm not going to remember. I need Classy here right now. Classy of Cecil from Classy Tech Calibrations is a wizard. He knows all about this. He knows exactly what you're talking about. I'm going to get his help for you. How about that? Because I don't want to steer anybody wrong. There is a thing with Sony TVs where you calibrate something in normal HDR or SDR, and it screws up the Dolby Vision, because Dolby won't let Sony touch their stuff. And I get it. That's kind of part of the point, is Dolby doesn't want manufacturers altering anything. They want kind of control over the experience. And so I understand the intention. I don't think that they intended this little altercation that's going on. I do know that you have to make adjustments while watching Dolby content. I'd be curious to know what happens if you change the color temperature setting while watching Dolby Vision content. You can't do it while you're watching other kinds of content. But I'm going to see if I can get you, since I happen to know you, Nick, I'm going to see if I can come up with a more helpful answer. Thanks for being here, by the way. And good luck with the new clothing line. Y'all check out Movie AV Impulse. He's a physical media lover. And speaking of which, I have a really exciting video dropping tomorrow here on this channel. It's the best gifts for AV and home theater geeks. So whether you are one or no one, I've got a bunch of fun stuff in there, and there's some really cool stuff for physical media lovers, as well as like the digital media lovers as well. So you guys are just, I can tell, I have my laptop over here, and I can just see you're blowing up the chat. And I got to tell you, that is really, really exciting. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for blowing up the chat. I do see some familiar names. I want to thank Lisa B for taking care of moderation today. She's in there trying to make sure you guys are behaving right. and not going crazy. Classy is here, and he's already going to. He's already going to weigh in. He's talking about how Dolby Vision Dark has a white point offset with either of the expert color temp settings. So, we'll get you the information that you need, Tech or Movie AV Impulse. I'm glad that Classy is here to hear about that and weigh in a little bit. All right. Jennifer Gala, a shout out to Jennifer Gala, who was also extremely supportive over the months where I was not on YouTube. Really want to thank her for what she's doing for the TV reviewer community, providing just tremendous content for us to show off on the TVs without ever worrying about there being a copyright strike. She is an amazing creator. You've got to go check out her YouTube channels. I think you'll find her under Athena Gala. If you just type in Jennifer Gala she has 2 channels, by the way, that I know about. And both of them are outstanding, but that's Gala, Jennifer or Athena Gala. If you go and check her out on YouTube, her channels are amazing. People always ask, what content should I play on my TV to really experience amazing HDR? There are 2 go-tos for me that are always consistently amazing. Jennifer Gala is one of them, and Eugene Belsky is the other. Very different approaches. Both absolutely gorgeous and really good for your TV. So you guys are, I don't know how to express the gratitude I have for you guys right now. This is, after being off of YouTube for almost 5 months, and grinding so hard, this is a really special moment for me. I hope you know that. I hope you know that's genuine. This is amazing. All right, back to another question. At Thomas523, thank you for the super chat. Hi, Caleb. I currently still have my LG G3 77-inch OLED and love it. You should, because that's an awesome TV. But I think I'm going to upgrade soon. Should I wait for mid-2026? What next-gen TV would you recommend? I am sticking with OLED, I think. You're sticking with OLED. Let's see. So I would wait for the LG G6. Cecil at Classy Tech Calibrations highlighted something for me that I hadn't really considered, and that is that on balance, the LG G series has been excellent year after year after year after year. I mean, it's top tier. It's right up there. It's competing with all the best TVs at the shootouts. However, it kind of seems like on the even years, the TVs have had less posterization in low luminance scenes than in the odd years. Seems crazy, but, I would say you could wait for a 2026 model. If you could wait a year, let's be honest, your G3 is awesome. If you could wait a year, I think it would be worth it, because the G6 that we can expect in 2026 will probably be very, very awesome. I don't know how much more awesome it'll be than the G5, because the G5 is killing it. Probably small refinements, unless LG shocks me. But I would say overall you could milk a little bit more out of your G3. Get the G6 when it's discounted for the holidays. This time next year is what I would say. Chris DeGraw, my man, who is largely responsible for the thumbnails that you see in our YouTube videos. Zeke will pop in and take care of one every once in a while, but Chris DeGraw is our thumbnail guy. He is also the person who created the CalebRated logo that you see, which I've kind of like starting to identify with that now. And I am ever so grateful. Chris was there when I was going out on my own. Used to work with him at a company, and you guys can guess which one. And he's just an outstanding human. But I think he really came up with an awesome logo, and I'm ever so appreciative of that, and of the fact that he's been taking care of the thumbnails for me. While he has a day gig, he's moonlighting. So thank you for being here, Chris, and thank you for everything that you do for the channel. We have one from @AudioDegenerate. I really identify with that screen name right now. Hey, Caleb, last month I snagged the 2024 85-inch TCL QM8 for $1,450. Good deal. I saw what I thought was a good deal, too good a deal not to pass. The 100-inch Hisense U7 QG for $21.99. So I exchanged. Yeah, dude. I mean, you made a big upgrade in size there, didn't you? Like, you could probably tell these folks what kind of a difference you're looking at between an 85 and a 100-inch, or 85 and 98-inch. Like, the U7 QG is a tremendous TV. It's just kind of the money spot right now in terms of value. I really don't think anybody is beating Hisense on total value right now, and that is a fact. Has nothing to do with Hisense sponsoring this stream. They're kind of owning the total value. What you get for the price that you pay. You might find series that like where TCL is coming in a little less expensive, but the Hisense has a little bit more. So take that for what you will. But yeah, good job. Well done. What do I think of Kaleidoscape? I'm pulling an audible. Pulling an audible here because I happen to look down. And what I think of Kaleidoscape is that it's ridiculously expensive, and you have to be a rich person to enjoy it. And if you are a person of means and you can afford it, it's awesome. Absolutely awesome. Bit for bit, perfect movies at home. Sometimes you can get releases, like currently in the theaters, you can get in your home with Kaleidoscape. And takes a phenomenal amount of memory. But I would say if you have a high-end home theater, you ought to have Kaleidoscape because you probably have the money to afford it. Their cheapest box is $3,000, maybe a little less for the holidays. But I forget the name of it because I'm not super familiar with Kaleidoscape. But some folks that I know, Chris Boylan, John Siaka, these guys are review really high-end stuff, big screen stuff. They swear by Kaleidoscape, and what they promise is amazing. Bit for bit, perfect. Better than Blu-ray. Hate to say it, it's true. Better than Blu-ray. Not by a lot, but they're technically theatrical grade releases. Very exciting. All right. At UJJ Walik 94, $20 Canadian. That's like $100 US now. Is that where exchange rate is? Thank you, by the way. I currently own a CX or C10 OLED I bought in 2020. Wow, time flies. Considering buying the Bravia 8 Mark II, it's currently on sale for $22.99 in Canada. Right, okay. I will have saved up by February, but I fear the price will go back up. Should I buy now or wait? The price will go back up. It may eventually come down, but you'll have to wait a long time for it. I don't remember Sony doing a whole lot of Super Bowl sale stuff. If you want that price, get it now. It's very rare that I urge people to buy now, but do. By the way, if you can wait, I will put a link to Best Buy for that purchase in Canada, which is a great opportunity for me to say, if you decide to buy a TV, maybe consider using one of our affiliate links. It really helps out the channel. It is expensive to do this, as I'm learning now that I'm running everything and paying everyone. And I don't know if you guys know this, but YouTube doesn't pay jack. It's kind of like being a musician and being on Spotify. A little bit better than that, but like honestly, you're not getting a ton directly from YouTube. We really do subsist on the kindness of others and partner opportunities. So. When I see all these super chats and I see the memberships and everything, that's why I'm so grateful, because you're making it possible for me to do this. That reminds me of a comment I had to make yesterday. Maybe we'll get to that towards the end of the live stream. But I want to keep going with another viewer question. We have one from William Palmer, 4427, who's a new member. Welcome to the club, my friend. Thank you very much. Hey, Caleb, from the perspective of viewing, seating distance, flexibility, in a home theater setup, has an 8K TV now become a good option at 85-inch screen sizes and larger? Yes, no, maybe other. Thanks, Bill P. Thank you for giving me the options for an answer. An 8K TV was always a good option for, not seeing any screen door effect at ridiculously close viewing distances. with that said, and I actually had to put this in the comments after the last Just Ask Caleb episode, where I talked about why, do larger TVs have worse picture quality? One of the things that people kind of roasted me for was like, dude, you didn't hit the obvious one, which is pixel density, DPI, or pixel pitch. 3 different ways of saying basically the same thing. And that's because I've sat, and Zeke can attest because he's done this too, and he watched me do it. I have sat insanely close to both a 115 and a 116-inch TV. Speaking of the Hisense 116 UX specifically, I sat obscenely close to that TV where I couldn't even see the whole picture because I was basically getting like a 4:3 because I was so close, and I didn't see any pixels at all. And so it's hard for me to say an 8K TV is better because of the pixel density. I would say an 8K TV is better when you're playing 8K content on it, which I hope we do see more of soon. It's starting to come. It really is. NHK is doing crazy stuff with it in Japan, and it's only a matter of time till we have it here. But we're also still just now getting 4K sports broadcasts, so consider that. Here's the other thing folks don't think about with an 8K TV. The pixels are so tiny that the openings are tiny. They let less light through. So a super powerful, let's say, I'm just going to make some numbers up for the sake of illustration. Let's say you have a 4K TV that's doing 5,000 nits, exact same backlight structure, and you put an 8K LCD panel in front of it. It's going to not cut it in half, but let's say it suddenly turns into like a 2,500 nit max TV. Like, it's really hard to get 8K TVs to be as bright as people have said that they wanted them. Are they bright enough? Absolutely. But they're also, in order to get that brightness, they guzzle power. And that's why they became a problem in Europe, is because they guzzle so much power. And in order for them not to pass the test and be sellable in the Europe and UK, no, I'm sorry, it's EU. I need to exclude UK. I'm not sure where their rules are on this, but in the EU, selling an 8K TV is hard because they consume a lot of power, and so in their demo mode, they're not that bright and not as impressive as you would expect it to be for the price. Very hard to sell. Also, is anybody doing 8K except for Samsung right now? I kind of think they're still the Lone Ranger on the 8K. Bless them. Bless them for trying. Bless them for pushing that 8K stuff. Let's do another question from Robert Conrad this time, 7521. Thanks for the super chat, and thanks for the live stream, Caleb. Great to see you back and killing it. Thank you so much. It feels good to be back. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very tired because I'm working really, really hard, but it's different now. You know what I mean? It's more of a, I don't know. It feels good. I'm glad to be back. Thank you for welcoming me back. Also, like, a lot of folks don't know where I am. Like, people as recently as yesterday were like, I'm so glad I stumbled on your channel or this came up, because YouTube is a funny place, not everybody who is familiar with me or wants to see my content even knows where to find me anymore. So I'm glad you did. Thank you for being here, and thank you for helping to spread the word, and thank you for supporting us so that we can do this work. It has not been lost on me, before I get to this next question, it has not been lost on me that I haven't been able to do as many reviews as I usually do. I'm still going to do them because these TVs that came out in 2025 are going to be sold for a long, long time. So these reviews are still meaningful, and we're not going to get new TVs to review until March, right? So might as well review them. But thanks for being patient. Thanks for still caring what my thoughts are on these TVs, and watching the videos and supporting us that way too. I really appreciate it. Add Red Air Ellipses Dell says, I still have a 65-inch LG G2 TV and still am very happy with it. How close are we to OLED extinction? I was in tears when plasma were gone. We're not that close. We're not like last 2 years of plasma close. The abrupt halt to plasma did hurt a little bit, didn't it? It didn't seem like OLED was as close on its heels as it needed to be. And then also it was super premium. So it was, plasma was also super premium. But, we're in a different place these days. You notice that like LCD TVs, LED TVs aren't like paper thin anymore, and that's because people don't care about that as much as they used to. Like, we're just happy to have a good-looking TV up on the wall, right? I would say that OLED's going to be around for a while. No matter how great the backlight technology is on an LCD TV, it will still be an LCD TV with LCD issues. The purists and the people in Hollywood will need the OLEDs. And so we're going to have OLED for a little while. And you know what? Like, who cares, right? If you get an OLED and it's going to be looking good for you, and if other people can't buy them, that's not your problem. And honestly, I don't think OLED's going to disappear until there's something suitably premium to replace it. That's a clip right there. Let's put that out as a short. OLED isn't going to disappear until there's something suitably awesome to replace it. It's not like our standards are going down, and so we're just giving up on awesome stuff. That's not the case. Woo, we got a, whoa, I don't know how much 100 euros is, but holy cow, that person, is that Florian? Dude, that's Florian. Zeke, can you pull that one up when you get a second? Go ahead and throw me whatever you're going to throw me. But that Florian, yeah, we got to get, I want to talk about Florian, and I also want to acknowledge it. Yeah, all right. No, Zeke, you're running the show over there, dude. I'll try and move faster. I am editorializing quite a bit, aren't I? Also, can I get a time check? There's no time on my laptop. And 9:40. Oh, 9:40? Yeah, we got an hour. Dude, that's awesome. I love this. Hey, are y'all having fun? Tell me in the comments. And if there's a way that we could have more fun, tell me in the comments. All right? Because we're live, baby. I haven't done that yet either. Like we are live. That my buddy Greg Nibbler used to do that all the time, reminding people that we were live. There's something about that, right? We are live. Anything could happen right now. Anything could happen. It's wild and crazy. We got Zeke and Rich over there. How's the donuts? Good?
So good.
Yeah, I got these guys on a sugar high. That's how we're rolling today. Oh man, I love it. Tracy Ann Esquire came in as a new member. Thank you. That's awesome. I hope that I can provide stuff for that membership that you love. The emojis aren't quite there yet, but they're coming, I promise. I love my TCL QM8 2023 because it has 4 HDMI 2.1 inputs. What? I don't know about that. My Sony receiver doesn't have HDR10 Plus, so I connect my Apple TV, which, Fire TV Cube and Blu-ray to my TCL. Why do new TCLs only have 2 HDMI 2.1 inputs? If my memory is wrong, it's wrong, and that very well could be the case. There's a lot about 2023 that I don't remember. But I want to say that it did not have 4 HDMI 2.1 inputs. So I'm not sure. But you know what? I will use your question to tease something. If y'all who have been whining and complaining about TVs not having 4 HDMI 2.1 inputs will be celebrating in 2026. Okay? We'll just leave it at that. Celebrate 4 HDMI 2.1 inputs in 2026. It is a very, I will say that it's a serendipitous thing to talk about that in this moment on this particular live stream. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? I can't be more specific than that. Just think about it. Think about it for a second. 4 HDMI 2.1 inputs in 2026. It's coming. I know it. Why do I know it? Anyway, welcome to Nitpickers. Welcome to all the new members, by the way. And once again, thanks to Hisense for supporting us for this live stream. It's great. Okay, so my man, I don't know if this is the Florian that I know, but when I saw this, it reminded me of a Florian that I do know, who is a display expert of the highest caliber and a great color grader. And I was just reminded of that guy. He's also been very kind to me and helped me out with really deep information when I've needed it. He's given some great lectures over the years. So shout out to that guy. But also shout out to this Florian and his very generous donation to the channel. I appreciate it. Just wanted to say thanks for all the great content over the years. So glad you're back. Keep up the good work whenever you're back in Germany, which is going to be in 2026 whenever IFA happens. We got to go. Let's grab a coffee if you're up for it. I will. be up for it. Might have to be some train station coffee, but you know what? That stuff is good. Rich and I know, man. Those y'all's pastries at the train stations. I mean, there's y'all talk about standards. That's some fire pastry at a train station, though. And unlike Tokyo, you can eat it on the train and nobody looks at you like you're the devil. I would love to meet up in person. Actually, so here's the thing. I'm going to start doing meetups. I'm going to do one in Vegas. And it's just going to be casual, like whoever shows up, who shows up, whatever. But but also we'll do one during IFA. And I'll try to do some when I'm traveling for business. And there's some reasonable amount of extra time available. I'll try and do that. I'm gonna have a sip. Hope you don't mind. That quad oat milk mocha coming in clutch. No sponsor, Starbucks. Okay, let's move on. Let's do another one from Jake T304. And Jake's been a member for a month. Thank you very much for that. I'm looking to upgrade my living room TV, which is currently an LG QNED. By the way, LG doesn't like it if you call it QNED, because Ned Flanders, I guess. Anyway, upgrading from a QNED to an OLED. I'm hesitant because I'm worried about potential screen burn-in. Let me slow down. I'm worried about potential screen burn-in. Is this a valid concern, or am I worried for nothing? So, I stir up controversy every time I talk about screen burn-in. Let me try and put this into perspective. So much has been done to modern OLED TVs to prevent burn-in that it's a non-issue for the lion's share of people. The folks I still worry about are the folks who watch, Fox News, CNN News, the Weather Channel, anything with like a bug, a lower thirds, Chiron, whatever it's called, if that is on your TV for 10 to 12 hours a day, you're not a good candidate for OLED. The risk is just too high. I'm sorry. Also, that on an OLED it's kind of a waste. Like, those guys are in 720p. They look like garbage anyway, and their voices are already annoying. You're gonna put them through some crappy OLED speakers. Don't get an OLED. All right. Hot take. Is OLED burn-in still a problem? Way less than it ever has been. It is so not a problem for most people. But I would say if you're watching that kind of content all the time, it is concerned. There are some folks who want to get OLED for gaming. Do it. There are OLED monitors all over the place. The fact of the matter is there's always going to be somebody out there saying, I got burn-in. You know what? There's always going to be somebody out there saying, my TV died. The vocal minority, people are way more likely to complain about bad things that happen than they are to celebrate good things. So you only hear about the bad things in the forums. This is why I have a problem with product longevity. You know what I mean? And actually, I think this is a good time to talk about it. A lot of people talk about, Hisense and TCL TVs break all the time. The data is not there to support that. The return rates are actually really, really low on those TVs, and the warranty replacement rates are fairly low as well. I mean, around industry standard for what's coming out these days. I do know that there are some TV repair people. Again, they come out, we hear from the vocal minority a lot, and it's easy to think that that's reality, and it's just not. With that said, I have my daughter's own mom and stepdad's TV. It's an OLED TV. I'll leave out the brand for now because I'm not trying to embarrass anybody, but it just died. It's a 2-year-old OLED TV, and it just died. Power supply board is just dead. It's a really nice TV from a company known for great build quality, and it's dead. It happens. It sucks to be in that low percentage of failure rate, but it happens, and I'm sorry. We'll probably end up having to talk about extended warranties here at some point in this live stream. But it's kind of like the panel lottery, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. It shouldn't be like that, but that's how consumer electronics are. It's true for everything. I don't know of any piece of electronics that is absolutely bulletproof. If it's not one thing, it's another, right? But, fortunately, those percentage numbers are low. So the odds are actually way, way in your favor. It's not a reason to operate from a position of fear. Does that make sense? Don't be scared of everything you're going to buy. What's the fun in that? All right. How you guys doing?
Doing well.
A lot of questions.
Yeah. Oh, that's okay. So hurry the F up. Is that what you're saying? All right. Speed round. We're going to do a speed round. I just bought this. We got one from Mr. Martinez 760. Thank you for the generous super chat. I just bought the Samsung S90F. Great. Not so happy with it. Not so great. Should I replace it with the LG equivalent or the TCL QM9K? I prefer the Google Play OS over the Samsung OS. Why are you not happy with it? I mean, you're telling me that you don't like Samsung OS, Tizen. That's helpful, but I need to know more. I'm sorry. Like, why aren't you happy with it? I need to know why you're not happy with it before I can tell you what to go get so that you will be happy. Because right now I do not have enough information. The S90F is a stellar TV. Picture quality, it's stellar. So I need to know why you're not happy. If it's just a matter of the OS and we're talking about Google TV versus LG WebOS, I mean, I'm on record as being a big fan of Google TV. It's my favorite built-in streaming OS. Roku's very close, but Google is my first choice. So if it's just down to the streaming OS, then go with whatever TV has Google in it. I would say Hisense U8K, TCL QM8K. I don't know if you need to go to a QM9K. Don't think that's going to help you out. Next is from Laurent 214. I hope I spelled your name or pronounced it correctly. I can't even say croissant correctly. But hi, Caleb. Just a shout out from France. Hey, thank you. From a longtime follower. Bought an 85-inch Bravia 7 after your review. Stellar TV. Love your work. Keep it. Thank you. By the way, I read almost all the comments. I can't respond to all of them, but I read almost all of them. And when you guys say encouraging, uplifting stuff, man, I sure appreciate it. I really do. Thank you for that. It helps a lot. Next question. We're doing a speed round now. Sorry, Zeke. That's my fault. It's my fault that you had to wait a whole ass 2 seconds to get to the next question. At Sean Zamora 6835. Thank you. Hi, Caleb. Purchasing the Hisense U7 100-inch this week. Good call. Need help with a soundbar or subwoofer to get. Only have room around the TV, not behind where we sit. Okay. Looking for an option under 1K. I would have recommended the Saturn system. It's surprisingly good. But if you're not going to be able to do anything behind or off to the side, soundbar or soundbar woofer. There's some good ones. Let's see. It's a 100-inch TV. You need big sound. You get a subwoofer. Otherwise, you could get away with a Sonos Arc Ultra. I think you need the subwoofer with it. If you're going to go soundbar only, no subwoofer, that's a hard sell in your home. Sonos Arc Ultra is probably one of the better ones to get. I want to say Sennheiser has one that puts out a lot of bass too, but I think it's really expensive. Otherwise, it's really hard to find soundbar systems where you don't get surround speakers. I know that Klipsch has put out some stuff where the surround speakers are optional, and in fact, sometimes those systems, like the Flexus systems, sound better without the surround speakers. At least the last time I checked, which admittedly was 9 months ago, something like that. So check out the Klipsch options. They love their bass. So I hope you like bass too, because it's kind of hard to turn their subwoofers down. Sonos is just very refined, very easy to control, no-brainer. It'll sound as big as your TV without surround speakers. If you've got the means to do that, get a Sonos Arc Ultra and a Sonos sub. Next question. Flexus 300. Some people are talking about that. I haven't tested it yet, but it's on its way. Mark Delight says, hi, Caleb. The Samsung video this week was in HDR. I think you're talking about the Sony video. But yes, it was in HDR, and the shots of the TV looked amazing, but the rest of the video was really dark. Was that intentional? This was your first HDR video posted, was it not? It was not, actually. Zeke has graded at least 3, maybe 4 videos in HDR at this time. Could be even more than that. And obviously, we're still tweaking with some stuff, but I've heard that, and that is what we haven't figured out is what the conditions are in which people are experiencing that, because I've checked it out, Zeke's checked it out, lots of people have checked it out. It's a device thing. We don't know what's going on. We haven't narrowed it down. But I mean, if you've noticed, if you had that experience, if you watched that HDR video, it was in HDR, but I was dark and the TV was bright. We want to know what you were watching on. Was it an Android phone? Specifically, we'd like to know, was it an iOS phone? We're using a streaming box? We're using the built-in app on a certain TV? If it was a TV, what was your picture mode? That kind of stuff. Give us the information so we can kind of drill down and find out what it might have been, because like we've checked it. Yeah, we got to reverse engineer it, because like we know that honestly, props to Zeke, that video looked fire. And I don't know, I don't think anybody else is doing TV reviews in HDR consistently right now. Vincent played around with it, but I don't know that he's doing it regularly. Anyway, that's something we're trying to bring that's premium to this channel, and I hope y'all appreciate it, because Zeke does a lot of extra work for that. Next, from Nicholas Shannon in 7379. Hi, Caleb, 83-inch S90C. Actually, on movies and gaming are spectacular. Discovered that watching YouTube videos with lots of panning B-roll is nauseating. Ah, yes. Motion smoothing set to 3. What's causing this? Okay, that's complicated. It could be a number of things. We are shooting in 30 FPS ourselves to reduce some of this. 24 FPS content is going to cause a lot of judder, and that's part of what it's going to be. Also, though, like, I don't know, first thing you should do is press the up button, whatever gets you to the menu, go to settings, and force it to go to the highest resolution, all right? It may buffer for a little while, but if you don't force it to the highest resolution, not only are you getting lower resolution, lower bit depth, but you're also getting lower frame rate. And lower frame rate, no motion smoothing is going to fix that. So that's the first thing I would check. Try that, and then come back to me and let me know what happens. Next question. Boy, y'all are just killing it in the chat right now. Holy cow. See something about an NAD, and I'm excited about it. At David Hollis, 3136 499, 85-inch Bravia 9 or a 98-inch QM8K? Same question that we answered earlier. Do we go with the TV that has slightly higher performance, but you got to go with the smaller size because it's more expensive, or do we go for the big one that is technically and on paper not quite as high performance? Honestly, can you do a 98? Because if you can and you're not a super purist, go for it. That's what I would say. I will, for those of you who weren't here for the very beginning of this chat, the classic issue is, do I buy the bigger TV, maybe a couple models down to be able to afford the bigger TV, or do I buy a slightly smaller TV, a couple models up, more premium? And that is a tough decision to make, but what I would say is once you're getting into the Hisense U7 and U8, the TCL equivalents of those, you're at a fairly high level. If you're comparing a QM8K to a Bravia 9, I mean, the Bravia 9, let's be honest, Sony, that is for seriously discerning viewers, and also just reliable. You know what you're getting with the Sony. I would say, if you need 98-inch, if you're craving the 98-inch, go ahead, go for it. I think you'll be very happy with that TV. I mean, 98 is gigantic. So, if you can accommodate it, go for it. Personally, I'm probably doing the 85-inch in that particular scenario. Next, please. And by the way, just again, thanks to folks who are joining. Thank you so much for all your generosity and all your great questions and just the awesomeness in the chat. I don't know what kind of numbers we're looking at, but it sure feels like it's awesome. Caleb, price aside, Sonos Arc Ultra with sub versus Flexus 300 with sub. That's from Tar Heel Superfan, who I've seen in the comments before. Good to see you again. Thank you for the donation. And I don't know, dude. The Flexus 300 isn't here yet, and I haven't experienced it yet. So I will say I assume that the Flexus 300 is going to offer a very, very different experience to the Sonos system. Sonos TruePlay is the truth. Their sub is very, very good and refined. It also looks cool. I mean, I haven't heard the Flexus 300, so it is not fair for me to say this. I will say that that Sonos pairing is fire. And so, price aside, I'm probably going to end up getting the Sonos. That said, if I hear the Flexus 300 and it rocks for music better than the Sonos, and it still does great virtual surround, I might pick that. I do love Klipsch products. I think they're doing a great job right now. Speaking of, I might not be able to talk about that because of, keep your eye on Klipsch in the next few weeks, guys. They have some exciting stuff coming out that I don't know if I can talk about yet. But man, I'm excited. So you should be excited as well. What's up, guys? We doing okay? We got a good one?
Got a pretty big one here.
Oh, man. Whoa, Ninja Boot. Or is that Ninja a boot because they're Canadian? So bad. You guys, don't let me get away with that. Don't let me get away with that. Audio question. Oh, sweet. We haven't had one yet. I did see this one earlier. Current setup are Focal Coras. Congratulations. JLD110 sub. Congratulations. NAD M10V2. Don't know that unit yet. Looking to upgrade. Okay. Why? Why are you looking to upgrade that system? Have an honest conversation with yourself. Is it just because you wanna? Because you got upgrade-itis? Because if that's the case, I get it. Trust me, I get upgrade-itis big time. But deciding between the SVS Pinnacle and the Titans, music first, movie second. Seeing as I have a sub already, would the Pinnacles be overkill? My amp sufficient? Your amp is sufficient, I think. I don't know the NAD M10V2 well. That's a great question for Andrew Robinson because he could tell you, he knows that NAD, I guarantee you. He owns the Titans. And while they are smaller than the Pinnacle, I believe that their efficiency and impedance is similar. Those SVS do like a hearty amount of power to be their most dynamic. I would say with the JL Audio sub, you're probably good with the Titans. One of the reasons that I keep looking at them. That's what I'm doing right now when I do this. It looks bad on the camera, but I get to enjoy the look of my Pinnacles. I would say the Pinnacles, the great thing about them is that the bass, I mean, you don't need a subwoofer. They're like that. But unless your room is cavernous and you just want the look of the bigger speaker, I would go with the Titans on that. I wish I knew a little bit more about your focals, but I mean, yeah, the Titans probably, unless you just want the bigger, better speaker, and you are upgrading from a Fire system already, so I mean, go for it. Like, who cares? I will say this: let the JL Audio just handle the shake your butt frequencies, and let the speakers be musical. Also, if you're running a system that is going to take care of phase problems and interference and boundary issues and stuff like that, if you can dial the bass in, is what I'm trying to say, then I prefer having more sources of bass than fewer. And so, the Pinnacles would contribute to something like that. Next, please. At TS88199, trying to get a new TV and a budget one. FOMO and Brian's Tech are saying to go with the U7 from Hisense. This is for general TV and movie nights in the living room. A lot of natural light. Is the QM7K better? But those TVs are extremely competitive. I anticipated this question today. Those TVs are extremely competitive. The Hisense is slightly brighter. The Hisense also, for me, tested a little bit more accurately in the color out of the box, but not a lot. Yay, our B-roll is up. I'm so happy we finally have an opportunity. These guys, Rich and Zeke, we're gonna take a departure from the question. Rich and Zeke really did a lot to make this live stream feel premium, which I really expect. And being able to play some B-roll of the TVs. I mean, you see them right there. They're in their vivid mode and they're super hot. They're at that Best Buy, but like the U7 QG from Hisense is a phenomenal TV. Like the price to performance ratio on that TV in particular, it just blows my mind. So I'm a big fan of that TV. The QM7K from TCL is also nice. I mean, it's a very, very nice TV. It's very, very competitive. That is a very difficult decision to make. Hisense coming in with a two-year warranty. Just going to mention that. I think it's a great choice. Go see them if you can, and decide if one woos you one way or the other. I wish there was some other defining characteristic that's shooting to the forefront of my mind right now. But I mean, just to kind of show you guys, I'm not going to show preference to the Hisense TV just because they're sponsoring this live stream. That's not what this live stream is about. They're really, really close. I would have a tough time deciding between the two, because they're both so good. And I wish I could remember the sound quality. I want to say the Hisense sounded better than the TCL, but marginally so. You know what I mean? Like not a real reason to make a decision one way or the other. So yeah, I wish I could push you one direction or another. Go check them out and see if you vibe with one more than the other. It may just come down to that, one of those intangible things, because they're both outstanding TVs. And yeah, I mean, I don't know where TCL is with its warranty off the top of my head, but I do know that Hisense is offering a 2-year warranty on their TVs, which I think is an upstanding thing to do these days. Next up is a question from an unknown user, because I'm not looking at it just yet. What do we got for the next one, Zeke? Thank you. From Channel Surfer 2025. You're a very modern channel surfer. Hi there. I'm retired and watch TV up to 8 hours daily. I want to upgrade to LG C5 and a 77-inch or a mini LED TV. What would be your number 1 and number 2 pick for best picture and longevity reliability? 8 hours a day. What are you watching? I'm curious. You watching a lot of those news channels? I'll say this. I don't love an OLED. I said this earlier in the stream, and I don't know if you heard it, but I don't love OLED for watching a lot of the news channel. If you like to watch, movies and well-produced television shows on all the streaming services, an OLED is a great pick. If you're mostly watching pedestrian TV off cable, like an OLED will be awesome. I just don't feel like you're taking full advantage of it, right? It's like taking out a Ferrari and never going over 70 miles per hour. You're just, or taking a steep curve. You're really not using everything the TV that can do, and it seems like a waste. So in that case, I'd probably go with one of the higher performance mini LED TVs. Like I said, I love the Hisense U7, love the U8 even more. Honestly, U8s are just flying right now, flying off the shelves. Extremely popular TV, very reliable. That's a really stellar choice as well. It also makes the most sense from a performance to price ratio. Yeah, I hope that's helpful. Next question is from Darren Yukihiro. Thank you very much, and says, "Hey Caleb, I just bought a 75-inch Hisense U8 QG native apps versus the Google 4K TV stream." I mean, you're switching from a built-in experience to an external experience of exactly the same thing. The Google 4K TV streamer may be slightly more powerful for running those apps. I'm trying to imagine a situation in which that would be helpful. The only reason I would go with the dedicated 4K streamer and taking up an HDMI port for something that's already built into your TV is if that streamer can decode something that your TV can't, and I can't imagine that being the case. I'm not sure that it would make sense to bring in the streamer unless you're having Wi-Fi issues and you want to connect via Ethernet. That would be a reason for the external box. What's our next question? It is from Petulant Beard, which is I like that. I like that screen name. I like it a lot. And I really appreciate the super chat. Want an 83 or 85-inch TV, but struggling with OLED price jump over the 77. Amen to that. OLED like Bravia 9, also very expensive. QM9K worth it for OLED like 85, or just buy the 77-inch OLED. But you don't want the 77. You want the 83 or 85. Okay, let's just stick with the bigger. You're settled on that larger size, right? And I know that you look. Do you have an OLED now? have you had an OLED before? Are you moving away from an OLED? I would say, unless the answer is yes, you're moving from an OLED. I would be looking at, I mean, you could do the QM9K, but honestly, the QM8K might do it for you. Also, definitely look at the Hisense U8K. Both of those, I mean, like, I feel like the Hisense U8K price-wise is somewhere between TCL's QM8 and QM9. But the performance is there too. Those, I would say probably go for the larger mini LED because it's not cost prohibitive. Those larger OLEDs, they make it really, really hard to have the best of everything, right? It's tough. It's frustrating. But that's why I think that's why Hisense and TCL's 85 inchers are so freaking popular right now, is because it's a big, beautiful picture, and a lot of y'all can afford that. So yeah, next question. I hope that's helpful, by the way. If it's not, just read me the riot act in the comments. You can tell me. I don't mind. Besides the SVS Titan, says Cami84, are there any other tower speakers you like with amplification for the money? Are separates or integrated amps better? I love so many speakers. I really do. The thing about the SVS, Titan and Pinnacle and Tower, not in love with that particular name from SVS. Just name your tower speaker Tower. But I would say, I mean, I love Golden Ear speakers. I love Paradigm speakers, the right ones. Martin Logan makes an excellent speaker. Definitive Technology has a certain flavor, but that can be a lot of fun. The right Polk speaker can also be amazing. And I would say, as far as amplification goes, by the way, shout out to Aperion Audio, my former employer. I think they're still making really great speakers. Like, kind of the Hisense of speakers, honestly. Just ridiculously high value, high performance, low price, build quality on those Aperions. At least it used to be absolutely stellar. So, consider something like that. Also, if you want something really inexpensive, I don't think they're as pretty, but Fluence. Fluence is also worth taking a look at, and their turntables are outstanding. The back half of that question has something to do with, for amplification, separates better than an integrated. I mean, separates are also going to be one of those things where they are better, but man, you got to spend a lot for it. Like a really high-powered receiver is awesome enough for most people. Integrated amps, like those are like the really powerful integrateds that you can get right now. It's just sick. It's sick. Like I have a couple of Outlaw mono blocks over here. I also have a Marantz 60N. I have not compared them yet, but I know the 40N, and I know it's going to be very comparable to having the mono blocks. Now, it's a bad example because Outlaw makes mono block amplification fairly affordable. But I will say, man, some of the integrateds these days are just knocking the socks off of their listeners. They're knocking it out of the park. They're knock on wood. I don't come up with another really bad metaphor. Too late. I would say 9 times out of 10, integrated versus separate amplification, the integrated is going to be fine. Receiver, look, dude, a receiver, it's how many channels of monoblocks are you going to buy? You know what I mean? The receiver makes so much more sense for more people. Next up is a question from Steve Arian. Thanks so much for the question and the donation. Hi, Caleb. I have a Panasonic 65-inch 65ZT60, which, if I'm not mistaken, was the best 65-inch plasma that Panasonic ever made. And it works great. I'm sure it does. I'm thinking of upgrading and thinking OLED. Will I notice a huge difference in 4K Blu-rays? What model would you recommend? HDR is stunning. Never mind the 4K. It's the HDR that's going to get you. And yeah, you'll notice a huge difference on 4K Blu-rays. Also, the expanded color. I mean, well, that's the thing is HDR isn't just about specular highlights. It's also about color. You'll notice a huge difference. For OLED, what model would I recommend? I would say technical difficulties. Something fell, and it's so much fun. I would say, the OLEDs are so good. And the final descent of the USB fan. Bless it. I'm just, you know what? I'll be honest with you. I'm surprised it held on this long.
Yeah.
Also, how are we twins today, Zeke? How did that happen?
I was like, yo, we are in sync.
We are in sync. Okay, so getting back to the question, OLED. They're also good. Bright room, lots of windows. Samsung S95F. Best overall OLED within reasonable price tier S90F. Second to that, real close would be an LG C5 or C4. Honestly, an LG C4 right now would be a great call. I love the Bravia 8 Mark II. I love it. I love the Z95B, and I say that because I remember the Z95A and I loved it. I mean, I would say you're coming from a Panasonic plasma. Go for the Z95B. Let me help you out there. Let me be very specific. Go for the Z95B. You will be thrilled. Period. End of story. Except for the Fire TV OS, I could do without that. But the TV, I think, is good enough that it's worth it. And maybe you don't know any better than Fire TV OS because that Panasonic plasma doesn't have jack for built-in smarts. Next question comes from my man Brian's Tech Therapy. Hi, Brian. Also known as Big Brian in the inner circles, right? Because, often with these press trips, there's two Brians at least. Sometimes more than that. And Brian is like that football player that he's just a teddy bear guy. He's a handsome man too, gotta say. His thumbnails are like blue steel. You know what I'm saying? And he says, keep up the great work, brother. And I am. Thank you, Brian. Thanks. Brian and FOMO were exceptionally supportive to me during some very difficult times. I mean, like talking on the phone all the time and just gassing me up and providing an opportunity for interviews. And it's this community is pretty amazing. It really is. Like, we could be at each other's throats competitively, but like, it's not like that. We prop each other up, and I think everybody is better for it. Do you agree? Let me know in the comments, or if you disagree, don't. Just go away. Just kidding. I don't mean that at all. How are we doing on the comments, guys? Are they still coming in? Okay. Yeah, let's go. Speed round. New York Tricks 9449. Tricks used to be one of my favorite cereals. Shout out to the silly rabbit. It's a Sony Bravia, or is a Sony Bravia XR8B. I think that's just the standard Bravia 8. A good buy. I got it for Black Friday, and it's my first OLED TV. I found it on sale at Best Buy. Of course, this is an exceptional TV. Whether it was a good buy kind of depends on the price you got for it. But it sounds like you found it on sale at Best Buy. Congratulations. I mean, how do you like it? If you like it, it was a great buy, right? 100%. No, you did great. That's an absolutely stellar TV. I would put it a little above the LG C5 maybe. And right around the S90F, even though it's not a QD OLED. It's just an absolutely beautiful OLED TV. So congratulations. You're going to freaking love that TV. I'd rock one. I'd rock one right now. Absolutely. At the hookup. This sounds familiar. I feel like I know the hookup. Caleb, happy to see you more in control of your own destiny. Thank you. I enjoy it. I remember a feature was being teased about dynamic frame rate switching in movies to allow for 24p to have smoother panning. What was that called? Okay. Ooh, you're making me dig deep. Brian, if you're still in, you remember this. TCL was talking about it in partnership. It's where they changed the frame rate. There's a number of different ways this could go. We're going to see this potentially in HDR10 Plus, by the way. Dolby Vision 2 is also going to offer something like this. But there was a particular company that was pioneering the idea. Do not remember the name. Do y'all remember the name of that? It's escaping me right now. There was a particular company that was doing it, and they showed it off on TCL's TVs in a secret booth behind TCL. That was a couple of years ago, but there's a name for it, and I'm going to think of it, or somebody's going to come up with it down in the comments. I've talked about it before, but we apparently it's in the wild somewhere. I haven't seen it in a consumer TV. So I'm not sure what's going on. I don't think it was meant to be so behind the scenes, though. I think we'd hear about it a little bit more. I know movies were graded to use it, but I don't know if there's like a technological implementation inside a consumer TV that I haven't heard about that. But like I said, Dolby Vision 2 and HDR10 Plus promise something very similar, where the creator can control when motion. Okay, so this is different. This is how it's different. Dolby Vision 2 HDR10 Plus will allow the creator to control the TV's implementation of motion smoothing, meaning it's going to use TV motion smoothing, right? The other sort, if I'm not mistaken, was they actually included more frames, like actual frames in the content. And to me, that sounds like a more premium product. The Dolby Vision 2 HDR10 Plus thing sounds easier to implement at scale, so it's probably going to be the more popular solution. TrueCut Motion, that's right. Thank you, TrueCut Motion. Thank you to Zeke and Rich for looking that up for me. I really appreciate it. Oh, the commenters got it. Okay. Thank you to Rich and Zeke for yelling the answer to me because I can't see it in the comments myself. Next one is from El Roscoe, who came through with 250 Mexican. Mexican, you know all about Hisense, don't you? I say this because I'd like to, well, back when I got to go on vacations, I'd like to go to Mexico a lot. And Hisense has an amazingly powerful presence in Mexico, partially because, they operate some factories down there, but their appliances, their fridges in particular, are huge in Mexico. And it's just so fun seeing the Hisense brand everywhere down there when I go on vacation. I think that we're going to see similar penetration in the U.S. market, maybe starting in 2026. And that not just for Hisense. I think we're going to see new appliance options coming. All right. Hi, Caleb. I have an 85-inch Bravia 9. If Sony releases its RGB mini LED in 2026, what makes you think that might happen? If I decide to replace the Bravia 9, will I notice a big difference in image quality? I already saw it in Japan. You are good at paying attention. You're right. Zeke also saw it in Japan. I'm going to let Zeke answer this one. Zeke, do you think that somebody's going to notice a big difference in image quality between Sony's RGB mini LED and the current Bravia 9?
I personally think they're gonna have to wait to see it, but I enjoyed it a lot. I think it was a big enough difference.
Zeke says you need to see for yourself to decide whether you're going to notice. It does have a lot going for it in terms of color. I'll say that, and color brightness, and that's not a small deal. I'm excited about it, but let's be honest, the Bravia 9 is a freaking awesome TV, and so the improvements that we'll see from an RGB mini LED are going to be what improvements that we see will be pretty awesome, but they'll be small, right? Not a giant leap. So I hope I answered that. I hope Zeke kind of answered it. I know we tried, and I'm gonna have to be okay with that because we got a lot of questions to get to, and I want to get to them. The next question comes from Alan Dawson 9419. Thank you so much for the super chat. Can you do a Bravia 5 review? I can. Real world performance doesn't seem to match on paper specs. Only Sony 98-inch. Oh, okay. So you're saying the 98-inch Bravia 5 is doing what you would expect, but the smaller sizes are not. That's an interesting. That's interesting. That's interesting, man. I think I can definitely do a 65-inch Bravia 5, and we'll see what happens. I know that the Bravia 3 also needs some professional attention. Like, not a lot. If you go to cecritic.com, not a lot of great things being said about the Bravia 3 right now, but I'm not sure that the sample size there's no professional reviewers who have touched it. So I would like to do that. Of course, I want to do all the TVs, and that's not possible. So somebody's gonna have to tell me no. Zeke's gonna be like, dude, stop it. And I probably do need to stop it. I see something about Magnetar coming up, and I'm excited about that. Next question comes from Nelson Roquel. I want to upgrade to a 77-inch, must be OLED, but have a window directly behind the couch that shines and reflects sunlight on the TV. Yes, mostly sports during the day, TV movies in the evening. S95F is pricey at this size. Any other options? Well, I mean, a 77-inch bright OLED TV is going to be a lot of money. So if you want the OLED, really the S95F is the way to go. You could go with last year's, was it the D? They skipped D. Yeah, you could go with last year's S95D if you could find one. It also has the anti-glare treatment and is remarkably effective. But your situation, I hate to say it, but like, yeah, I think you're going to be spending a lot of money if you want a bright OLED for that situation and good anti-glare. I will say that nobody's doing anti-glare like that. Samsung's got that on lock, and it makes a lot of sense for a whole lot of people. I will say, the next version of that TV is going to be pretty awesome. Might drive the prices down on that if you can wait for a little bit, but I'm betting you want to buy sooner than later. I know it's a lot, but you have to spend that much to get what you need. Does that help? Like, if that's any kind of justification, you do that's a rare bird. There's just nothing like the S95F out there. I think that's what you needed to hear. There's nothing like the S95F out there. And so you're going to need that particular TV. If you wait until 2026, there will be some less expensive options, I think, for you. Okay, but I don't think you want to wait. I think you want to buy soon, and I think you need to spend the money and get the S95F. And I almost never say stuff like that. Next question comes from somebody.
10 minutes left. 10 minutes left.
We only have 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry, there we go.
I feel like I don't want to stop. We're gonna have to do this more often. That's all there is to it. We're gonna have to do this more often. They're slowly dying over here. I know that nobody, donuts and coffee are great, but like, my bad on TCL inputs. Oh yeah, it came back, Tracy. Okay, thanks. Have an Apple TV 2 Gen 2 on 2.0 input. Recommendation on upgrade of Sony 790 receiver with, want one with HDR10 plus, $800 range, big fan. Okay, I'll be honest with you. I don't know enough about receivers will you email me at Ask Caleb at CalebRated.com. Put your screen name in the subject line. That's all you need to put there. I'll recognize it. I'll get you some custom answers. Okay. I want to go do some research. I will say I tend to be a big fan of Marantz and a big fan of Onkyo. I just am. Sony though. Sony's got some fire receivers right now, and that's why I want to look. Next question. We got to get them in. AKB3895 says, "Hey Caleb, need help choosing a TV? Samsung S84F, 65-inch OLED is $900. Hisense U8 65-inch mini LED is $1,000. I know they aren't equal, but which would you pick? Kind of depends on what you're going to use it for. I would say the S84F is very nice WRGB OLED TV. It's Samsung's least expensive option for a medium bright room down to dark room. Excellent choice. But there's limitations to where I think OLED is appropriate. I would say if you watch the TV a lot, like, I don't know, let's say 7-8 hours or more a day, you leave it on the same channel a lot. That's not great OLED. That Hisense is the way to go. Also, that Hisense is going to be so close to the OLED, so close in so many ways. I think you'd really love it. Next question is from Sahid Khan, 9166. Hey, Caleb, I just got off work. Hey, welcome from a 12-hour shift. Thanks for being here. I hope you're doing okay. Had a question about OLED and gaming. If gaming in HDR, does the picture dim after a short time when playing a game with high peak brightness in HDR? Depends on the TV. There are auto dimming features in OLEDs meant to kind of save them from doing anything stupid for a really, really long time. And I know that it used to be if you just played hockey where it's all brightness, all white, all the time, eventually it's going to get dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. And that's really to just protect the TV. Generally speaking, I don't think people are having a ton of problems with gaming in HDR on an OLED right now. Times, and they play forever, which, maybe they shouldn't be on an OLED in that particular case, or prepared to pay for the replacement cost. But I'd like to do a little more research into that. If there are gamers playing on OLEDs in the comments, help this dude out, please. Next question comes from BeReal87. The 55-inch S95F deal feels like a scam versus the S90F. I want the brightness, but is it worth $18.99 versus $11.90? Oh, okay, when the features are similar, minus 144 hertz. I know what you mean, man. You know they're capping that TV with software. Like the S95F does have the anti-glare, though, right? So it's more than just the brightness difference, at least. I would say there are very few situations in which you need the S95F. Buy the S90F. I bet you're going to be thrilled. I'll put money on that. Next question comes from someone. I need to stretch my neck anyway. Jenadoc730 has been a member for 1 month. Thank you so much. Thoughts on turntables? Yay! Is vinyl audio... No, you didn't. Vinyl audio superior to high-bit streaming. You're going to get me blasted. Not that I'm biased. I've got my old collection, but no turntable anymore. Here, you know what? I'm going to answer you, but with a non-answer, sort of. I have so many records that you can't listen to on streaming. I have CDs that you can't listen to on streaming. I think the argument for vinyl is not just the kind of sound quality that you get. Also, I think they're more dynamic, so that's one thing I like. Pops and clicks, removed. I would say I enjoy the sound of vinyl. Is it better than high-res streaming? At what? It depends on what the source was. If they just copy and pasted the same old digital, highly dynamically compressed audio file over to a high-res streaming service, like that higher bit depth and bit rate isn't all that helpful. But when the music can take advantage, I feel like they're both great. High-res is amazing. Vinyl is amazing. They're amazing for different reasons, and I don't think you have to pit one against the other. I just really don't. I don't think if you're deciding on whether to buy a turntable versus a high-res streamer, I guess that depends on, whether you're okay with just leaving your vinyl on the shelf. Next question is from Bruno Stokovic. Thanks for the donation. I own a 65-inch Sony X90H, which doesn't support VRR with local dimming. Right, I remember that. 120 hertz at full res and not very bright. Yeah, not compared to today. I have a large window next to the TV. Okay, so 85-inch QM8K, 85-inch U8QJ, or 77-inch S90F. Large window next to the TV. I'm sure the S90F would be fine. But look, you're looking at 85s versus 77-inch OLED, and you have a large window next to it. I mean, it's a tough call, but I'd be looking at the Hisense U8QG or that TCL QM8K. Hisense U8QG will be a little bit brighter. It is also pretty color accurate out of the box in most situations. And there is a beautiful picture of it right now. It's a stunning TV. I believe, I don't know what the cost difference is at the 85-inch level, but both really strong options. Go see them if you can. They'll be in vivid mode. Ask the Best Buy person if they're cool. They'll change video modes for you. I heard somebody was told straight up that they would not hand the remote over. That I'm not shocked by, but also that they wouldn't change the picture mode, and that's rude. Best Buy associates, change the picture mode if they ask. You're about to make a sale, dude. Like, I'm going to come in and just school y'all is what I'm going to do. Next up, at 23 Muggy, will Dolby Vision 2 be released to TVs that have Dolby Vision currently? Is it software or hardware dependent? So Dolby will not comment on that. It is, I think there may be some hardware component in that the SoC needs to be of a certain power to handle Dolby Vision 2, but is there a special Dolby Vision chip inside the TV? No. And so, there's not a financial reason for somebody to offer a free update to something that supports Dolby Vision 2 when it costs them a lot of money to do it. So I don't know. implementing Dolby Vision to its scale is probably what we're going to see, and you'll need to buy a new TV to get it. That's my assumption. I don't think that they're going to be plugging it into previous TVs. It's just not likely. They got to make a buck somehow, I guess. Lloyd Christmas 4561 says, "Hi Caleb, have you had any time with the new Magnetar M Mark II players?" No, but one is on the way as of now. And in fact, I believe the pricing and availability was just announced on those, or is about to be. I may have just broken an embargo. I hope not. Anyway, look, it's coming. Like, I'm not saying anything specific, but like big news on Magnetar coming up if it hasn't already just come out. I get a lot of emails, y'all. Would either be an upgrade to your Panasonic 9000? Oh, that's tough. Man, that penny is pretty nice. I will say, if you are as much of an audiophile as you are a videophile, Magnetar's awesome. Next question coming from Adam Uribe 5037. "Hi Caleb, I'm ready to upgrade a 65-inch Sony X950G. Okay, and narrowed it down to a 77-inch Bravia 8 or Mark II probably, or XR8B Bravia 8. Have you sampled?" Yes. I don't mind paying $400 more for the Bravia if it's worth it. It is worth it. Bravia 8 Mark II is spectacular. It's a QD OLED panel. It just does things different, and I love it. If you don't mind paying that $400, get the Bravia 8 Mark II. It's worth it. I will be your enabler. I have no problem with that. Next question. How many, where are we at in terms of?
4 more questions.
Okay, let's just get the questions out of the way. We'll do 4 more, and then we'll be done. We're okay on time?
It's 10:35.
Okay. Well, we have officially gone our 90 minutes, but we're going to keep going because we love you and because we're sitting here already, and there's lots of donuts. We'll be fine. At Doc SML says, "I've got a 65-inch U8K. Been learning how to calibrate." Oh, you've got Calibrate at home. Oh, where'd that come from? SDR and HDR, no problem. DV, not so much. Yes. HDR looks so much better than any DV mode. Can't find a good guide for DV. How's Classy? If you're still in the, what's up, Chris Boylan? Good to see you. Classy, if you're still in the chat, will you at this guy and see if you can't give him a tip? I'm not sure why you might be having problems with that. So I don't calibrate Dolby Vision. I'll test Dolby Vision, but I'm not in there calibrating Dolby Vision. I want to get the white balance hooked up and see what the TV can do, just to level the playing field a little bit and get a feel for the television and its performance. I can tell a lot that way, but I'm not. Y'all need to know I'm not a professional calibrator. Yeah, it probably will be eventually, but I know enough to get a very specific job done. I could make a TV look very good, but shout out to professional calibrators. That is a super high level of existence in this nerd plane that we're in, and I mean it's like a pro job for pro people doing pro things in this industry, and so I want to be careful. Anybody who calls themselves a calibrator, be skeptical. You'll know if they're a calibrator. There's somebody out there calling themselves a calibrator. They're not a calibrator, and I'm not going to act like I'm a calibrator. Next question. I got the Panasonic UB820. Congratulations. Excellent player. Are there any settings that I need to be careful with? I have the Hisense U7K. I don't think so. I think everything should be automated and you should be good to go. I have not dug into that player whole bunch, but I do have one on the way. And I will find out if there's anything specific about it. But like, honestly, you should be able to plug that in and it should be just amazing. I think your TV should automatically sense BT 2020 and do what it needs to do, and it should be great. There are probably some fun settings in there to tweak, but we'll have to look at that another time because I don't have like immediate knowledge of all the settings in that player. It's been a while since I looked at a Panasonic Blu-ray player menu. Next question comes from Skeleton Family Super Chat. Yes, I remember this one. Skeleton Family came through when we accidentally went live during our practice session and setup day, and that actually went better than expected. It gave me a lot of confidence that this was going to be a really successful event. Skeleton Family, though, came straight through with a super chat immediately and said, "I have a Z9J that just stopped working," and I'm so bummed to hear that. The Z9J was an epic TV when it came out. The Z9D, I think, was... I mean, that just made huge waves in the industry. Z9J followed that up. I'm out of warranty. Will the Bravia 9 be a solid upgrade? Otherwise, I'm going 83-inch G5. I mean, both of those are really, yes, the Bravia 9 is a solid upgrade. Absolutely. And the G5 is also an amazing TV. Very different, though. If you're coming from the Z9J, I'd go Bravia 9, probably. Next question.
I think it might be the last one.
Did I do that? Oh, we think this is the last one. Okay. All right. On a G4 with 2021 or 2022 Apple TV 4K. I get a moire effect when viewing Apple TV's California Wildflower screensaver, and I don't see it viewing any YouTube content, so it's no big deal. Does the G4 get compromised with such content? No. So I think, well, okay, I'll take the no back. I kind of want Classy's opinion on this too, oddly enough. So those screensavers are, they're interesting because I know the guy who makes some of them, and they are super, super high quality files, but I don't know how Apple is treating them or delivering them. I do know exactly what you mean. I will see moire. I will see certain flicker when seeing those screensavers that I don't see when I'm watching regular content. I just don't know why. I don't think you have anything to be concerned about, though, do you? I don't want to be dismissive. You paid good money to get my attention and answer on this thing, and I'm wondering if I'm missing something. Like, is it doing moire on your Apple TV screensavers? Yes, and I'm sorry, and I am not surprised. I've seen it too. It has nothing to do with your TV. That's the Apple TV delivering something. I wish I could say from a technical perspective what it was that was causing that. I don't know what that is. I just noticed that Remy wants your Z9, and they'll take care of getting it fixed. That could be expensive. That's an expensive TV. It's also super, super heavy. Big shout out to Rich. Big shout out to Zeke for helping me make this a really great event. Thank you, everybody who's watched, for helping to make it a great event. Thank you for everybody who came through. I wish I could answer everybody's question. I just can't. I want to thank Lisa B for being here to moderate and make sure y'all behaved. I can't wait to hear what the report card is on that. I gotta say, I'll try not to get too emotional here. I am ridiculously grateful, honored, flabbergasted. My heart is so warmed by all of the support that you guys have showed me before, during, and after what I went through earlier this year. Because there have been some very specific players, and I've thanked them a million times over. But at the end of the day, y'all watching and participating in this stream today are the reason I'm here. You're the reason I get to do this, and I never, ever, ever, ever forget that. I am so grateful. I'm constantly trying to do right by y'all, and I try to keep, have integrity, make smart decisions. Do the right thing, be considerate, be compassionate, be thoughtful, get the right information and get it right. And, I make mistakes, as all people do. You guys are great. Most of you are pretty gracious about that. And I really appreciate that as well. I just want to throw out, you've given me a lot. I hope that I can give enough back to you. You have been awesome. This has been an awesome experience. Thank you for being here. I look forward to doing this again. I think it won't be that long until we do it again. And until then, I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday. Somebody popped up with a happy Thanksgiving there. I want you all to know happy Thanksgiving as well. Thank you, Sir Taco Bell, for having maybe today's best screen name. The Petulant Beard is in tight running, but Sir Taco Bell's pretty good too. And happy Thanksgiving to everybody in the United States that celebrates. Maybe we can talk about our favorite Thanksgiving dish as we wrap this up. But I'm gonna stop there, folks. It has been an absolute honor to do this. It's been a tremendous amount of fun. I don't want to stop.
Questions you might have missed, so maybe address that
Yeah, I know there's a lot of questions I didn't get to do. I will say if you spent money, if you did a super chat or whatever, and we weren't able to get your question in, I will be going back and getting to those. I really will. That honestly, I think that's the direction I'm gonna have to go because I'm getting more questions than I could possibly answer. And I will answer unpaid questions. Don't get me wrong, but like if somebody is going out of their way to pay, I feel like a responsibility to do that. So I will get back to you, absolutely. And if I don't, call me out. I'll believe you. I trust you guys. Thank you so much. This has been amazing. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Have a great week. Subscribe, ring that notification bell, hype it up, keep the channel going. We're almost to 100K subscribers. I have awesome content coming out for you all week. And we may miss Just Ask Caleb this Saturday. I hate to break the record, but I'd rather people have time with their families. And it's already a busy week, you know, with Black Friday coming up and everything. And one of the things I wanted to do different for many, many, many years now is to give people that time and space. I know it's a big sales thing, and a lot of people make their nut on this particular sales event. I get that, but family first. And so, you know, I want to take it easy on Zeke and Rich and some other folks who are contributing. And maybe that means no Just Ask Caleb this Saturday. I hope you can forgive me if we do miss it. Hopefully this, I think this live stream more than makes up for it though, right? All right. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. We're going to end the stream now, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
And we're done. Wraps.
Dude, holy
Good
shit.
work, fellas. So here's some of our stats.